anything that you want on this show, I am going to bring it to you. It's going to be raw. We are going to deliver it. There's going to be no fanciness to it. Just raw people, and you're going to be involved. I did not think I'd be sat in a podcast studio maybe 5 years ago speaking to you. It just blows my mind that I'm actually sat here. Am I nervous? A little bit, yeah. But I just want to keep this show real, and I really want to deliver some amazing information to you. And information in 2025 literally changes faster than you're scrolling through your phone. So 1 minute you've got an influencer telling you this, you've got even an NHS system or an FDA board, anyone in pharmaceuticals, doesn't matter. I think supplements and pharma are quite similar nowadays. People have stacks of vitamins in their cupboards. Maybe they've got stacks of pills from the other side. And I'm not here to judge. That is none of my business what you do, any of that. I'm here to tell you my story of how I literally got into this podcast chair, which is kind of crazy. It's got really sad moments to it. I don't think I'd be sat here without those sad moments, the broken moments. So I don't want to go on about illness, because one of the major things that I see in people that are ill and broken is they talk about their illness a lot. They kind of own it, like you own a fancy handbag, yeah? It's like you want to show it off, not show it off at all. I got vitiligo when I was 26, after the birth of my first daughter, Grace. It was just really strange. I woke up one morning with a little patch of white skin, and I actually thought I'd like burnt myself. So I was just like, oh, you know, like sometimes when you burn yourself, you get that little mark. And I was just like, oh, what's that? Anyway, from that moment, another patch came and another patch came. So I did the usual thing. I think back then Google was like a massive, but I made a doctor's appointment and was sent to a dermatologist. So at the dermatologist, I was told that it could be the start of vitiligo. And I was like, vitiligo, what is vitiligo? As, you know, everyone else said to me after. So you become an encyclopedia of your disease, because loads of people then started asking me, you know, what was on my skin? Like, what is that? And I'd be like, oh, I've got vitiligo. They'd be like, well, yeah, well, what's that? And you know what? That's really painful when someone's going through something, because you're having to explain something that is happening to you that you don't know why. And a lot of people question why. Anyway, let's just cut this short. It's from that moment, I was so pissed off with people saying, you've not washed your fake tan off. I'd be like, yeah, it's not fake tan. I've got vitiligo. There we go again. You're owning it. You just keep talking about it. Anyway, I set off on a crusade. And back then, you know, Christopher Columbus was a crusader, right? But I flew to Cuba, and I was like, they have got this lotion in Cuba that you can put all over your skin and it gets rid of vitiligo. So I took my 2 young kids at the time on my own. I flew to Havana, found a taxi driver. This story is just crazy. But anyway, he took me to buy some human placenta. And I want to say this is where my biohacking journey started. This is 14 years ago. So I've now got pharmaceutical grade placenta. I know that sounds a bit weird, but it was in a clean bottle. It's pharmaceutical grade. Cuba has the most amazing medical system in the world. If you look up anything in Cuba, it has got good healthcare. So I thought, okay, great. So I've got all these bottles that I've brought back with me, and I'm just like, yep, I'm going to put this all over me. This is great. This is going to work. Went back to my dermatologist, and I was so excited to tell him that, you know, there's just been this amazing new thing that human placenta has got these stem cells in it. It feeds the skin. He was kind of looking at me like, okay. Anyway, as you can imagine, it never worked. So my story of vitiligo is, I've still got it now. I'm 90% no pigmentation. So that's quite tricky when you go in the sun. But you know what? I deal with it now and I just get on with it. And I think I'm kind of over it. And let's just drop back 5 years ago when my hair started falling out. Now, this is painful because my hair's falling out and I'm thinking, shit, this is like handfuls and handfuls of my hair. And I'm just like, was in the shower. And I know like in the shower, you've got those tiles. So I had this game every morning where I'd just get clumps of hair and stick it on the tile and think, like, that's one tile, okay, half a tile. And at the end of it, I'd just be like, you know, saying to other members in my family, my hair's falling out. But we're going to touch on this another time, because I'm going to bring people onto the show, right, that I think can really help us. That is what my gift's going to be to you. Okay, so, you know, there's a way that I think other family members can go, no, it's fine. No, it's not much hair. And inside, you're the person, right, going, are you fucking mad? I'm not sure if I'm allowed to swear on here, but I'm going to do it anyway. Like, are you fucking mad? Like, my hair, there's loads of it down the plug hole. And everyone's going, no, it's fine. You're stressing over nothing. Anyway, I then developed alopecia. So you can now imagine, this is not great. I'm thinking, I've got no pigment and I've now got no hair. And maybe Paul later can put a Sphinx cat up. I'll send you a picture, Paul. And I kind of look like a Sphinx cat. Do you know the ones? Anyway, here it is if you don't. And I've gone back. So believe it or not, in hair, they send you back to the dermatologist, which is a bit weird, right? Because you've got trichologists, dermatologists, but within the NHS system in the UK, we have dermatologists. So I've gone back to the dermatologist and he's gone, yeah. He said, autoimmune. He said, do you remember me telling you when you got vitiligo that basically you could get hair loss with this? And I was like, don't remember that actually, because I was dealing with my skin at the time. Don't remember hearing that I could lose my hair. So there you go. And we will touch on autoimmune. So all of you that are listening that have autoimmune, we are coming back to this in loads of episodes that are coming forward. And I really mean that. We are delving into this area because I've been in this area for 16 years and I know a lot about it. And that's hands on my heart, I do. So I've got no hair. From alopecia areata, which is the circles, to alopecia totalis, I'm now literally the Sphinx cat. So not good. I am just like dealing with it. People are saying, oh, it's okay. I've gone and got a wig, which I can, if anyone out there needs wigs, yeah, drop me a message. I have the best wig people in the world, okay? And don't get paying loads of money for wigs, because I was ripped off. The first wig that I bought was £1,000 and it was just like the worst wig I ever owned. I actually think it was made out of horsehair. So when I used to go out, I used to get like this massive clump. But anyway, that's a whole another story. We'll talk about that. So anyway, that was fine. I could go out in my wig. Fine. We'll come back to that word in another episode probably. So from the hair loss, the worst bit that literally threw me to the floor, was when my eyelashes and nose hair and ear hair, believe it or not, started to fall out, because obviously alopecia totalis is every hair on your body. So when I lost my nose hair and eyelashes, that was just the worst thing. Honestly, I'm so happy I've got everything back now. But let me tell you, your eyelashes and your nose hair and your ear hair is probably the best thing you have. Like getting in the shower, I used to think, why are my ears full up of water? I wouldn't be able to hear for like hours on end, because those little hairs are all there to protect everything. Going out into the road with the pollution that we have, even like being in this podcast studio now without eyelashes would be disastrous, because your eyes would just be so red and sore. So it was a whole journey, and one day I just crashed. Like one day I was like, nah, can't do this anymore. And I remember when I was a kid, the Samaritan's telephone number, and I was just like, oh yeah, there's that number that you can call. And I wasn't going to kill myself, and I really mean that. I'm really openly say this publicly. I just needed to speak to somebody to say, like, where do I go from here? Because I can't go on. It was like, no, I can't do this. Anyway, I ended up calling Samaritans, And can I just tell everybody watching this podcast, that needs to be in your top 5 numbers. Yeah, you might have your best friend and your family, but put Samaritans in there, because that is a great number if you're stressed and you just need some help. And in this day and age, I think we all need help at some point, and family members and friends at that point just can't help you. Something inside just, you just can't ask for help anymore. So just remember the Samaritans number. Maybe we can put a little thing up there, Paul, with the number for people, because I think that would be, it's nothing to be sad about. That is a great number to have in your phone. Anyway, I ended up speaking to this chap on the phone. I wish I had his name or whatever, but I was in such a bad place at the time that he sounded like David Attenborough, which is just absolutely, I don't even know where that came from, yeah, but I was high cortisol, my body was in such a stress situation, and I'm actually going to bring a therapist onto my show we're going to break that bit down. So I'm talking to David Attenborough, who's now working at the Samaritans, and he was the most amazing person that I probably could have ever spoke to in my life. He really just sort of got me. I mean, the guy was about 80. I think he'd been a Samaritan a long time, so I obviously got the best one. He really, really listened, and he said to me, he said, I want you to stay on the phone, get in your car and drive down to the doctors. And I was like, yeah, I've been there so many times. They just tell me that I've got alopecia, vitiligo, and there's it's autoimmune and there's nothing I can do about it. So I got in my car and he took my mobile number, just in case you're wondering if the connection, everything was fine. And I've got to the doctor's surgery. And I have to say, I wish I had a picture of me stood at that desk, but I got to the reception and I could hardly speak. It was like, I was just like, anyway, I passed the phone over to the receptionist and she just looked at me. I mean, I look like, and I'll try and get some pictures for you. I just looked like I'd walked out of a nuclear plant area that had just gone off. I had no hair, my eyes were red, obviously I've been crying, but this was so bad. I mean, they just looked at me in reception. Anyway, a doctor came out who ended up being the best doctor that I'd ever seen in my whole journey. And he literally took me into a room and he just went to me, how the hell have we missed you? And I said, well, I've been here, anyway, he just looked at me. And this is probably going to make me cry. So it was that person that is kind. And that's huge. Okay, so, we've all got feelings and you can only hold strength. You can only hold strength for so long. Anyway, he did a load of blood tests and literally was just like, I'm going to look after you. We're going to look what's going on. Anyway, so from there, I guess it was a big turnaround for me. And this is the funniest thing now. He asked me about my past and everything. And he told me to go and see a shaman. Which was just like, what? I'm in the NHS. He said, go and see a shaman, Sam. He said, I think you really should. He said, you can get all this shit off of you with a shaman. So I walked out of there thinking, fucking hell, okay. Listen, if you'd have told me to eat a banana for 2 years, I would have ate a banana for 2 years. I was like, yeah, I'm willing to do anything here. David Attenborough had gone. He'd got me to there. There was no bananas to eat. But there was just this whole journey of me getting home and going, right, I know what I'm doing now. I'm going to go and see this shaman. And it was just that one person that I needed dropped into my life at that time. Anyway, there's a whole journey that I went on with IFS, which is Interfamily Systems. I'm definitely going to get them on the show if I can. So this is what I want to say. The journey of me to this podcast studio is pretty huge, and I've been on some mental journeys. I was with Wim Hof 7 years ago. I did 4 days with Joe Dispenza. And I could list all these people, and I don't want to be that person that goes, oh yeah, I did this, and this. That's just not how it works. So let's just bring it back to why I'm here, and uninterrupted wellness, because it's uninterrupted, right? When you are going through something, you've got to go in. You have to go inside your body, because that's where you're going to heal. That is where you're going to go and get the answers. So I just did that. I literally went so far in that it was just amazing to get to know myself. And I do believe I went through a big breakdown. And I really want everyone to know, if you're feeling of having a breakdown, go with it. Best thing ever I did. The best thing I ever did was have a breakdown. Because after that bit, I'm not scared anymore. I'm really not scared anymore. Something shifted in me. I was already a health person. I'm a nutritionist. You know, I was so healthy. And I had a cabinet of supplements. I used to get sent supplements, but I would be taking all of this stuff, making smoothies, everything I now see on Instagram and TikTok and all the platforms. And I have to say, I just want to interrupt all of that for 1 minute and go, I am real life proof, okay, and I know it, that taking pots of supplements, I don't know, going into the cold water, meditating 10 hours a day, I don't know what you're doing, red light therapy, all of it has a place, okay? Every single thing has a place in life, but I think we have lost it. I think we are all looking on the outside. We've got companies that are selling us products, that I don't even think sometimes they white label them. I don't even think they've looked at a periodic table. They're not looking at, why have you put those supplements in that order? And believe you me, they can get away with a lot. You guys are out there, and I hope none of you ever feel as bad as I used to feel, because the last thing I really want to leave is when you are in that moment of trying to get well, your brain's not thinking properly. And, people say, do this, take that, go and get an IV. I did the NAD IVs. I did NAD IVs for a year. I did vitamin C injections. I did everything. I promise I was the girl that did everything. And it was only when I stopped doing all of that, looked at my gut health, stopped, just interrupted all of that. Uninterrupted wellness is where it's at. This is where I'm going to bring you the best people on this show. That's part of my journey. There's more to it. But you know what? I'm in the best place now than I've ever been. And I really mean that. I've got a full head of hair. This is real hair. Some people still look at me now, actually, and they look at my hairline and go, it's like, Sam, she got a wig on. It's like, no, this is real. And eyelashes are back and eyebrows. So I'm going to bring you the best people to the show. I want you as an audience that are watching this to feel so involved in this show. I don't want you sat there thinking, oh, I don't look like that. I haven't got that body, or I haven't got, £1,000 to spend on a vitamin pot that's going to sit in my kitchen cabinet because all my friends have those vitamins. All the celebrities that sell those vitamins, they're getting endorsed so much money. I want to bring you the truth. So thank you for listening. And any questions, just ask. Anything that you want on this show, I am going to bring it to you. It's going to be raw. We are going to deliver it. There's going to be no fanciness to it. Just raw people, and you're going to be involved. Yeah. I bet. No, I think I'm done. It's quite training, isn't it?